Other interesting political news, you have Representative Thomas Massie reacting to civil affidavit forfeiture, this time in Texas. Now, Thomas Massie says, quote, if this person isn't guilty, this is theft, which, spoiler, he's correct. Now, this is Border Patrol. They reported this, and they got ratioed, thankfully. People are tired of this shit. Now, they say, quote, it's not a crime to carry over $10,000. We just want to know, what about it? The CBP officers in Texas seized over $70,000 of unreported U.S. currency. A driver was referred for secondary inspection, during which officers in a K-9 unit found the money concealed in the vehicle. That got 13.4 million views and 2.8 thousand likes. And again, we'll get to Thomas Massey's, his comments, but this is from the original CBP post. One of the first comments comes with thanks to Luke Rukowski, who says, quote, why did you steal his money? He gained 1.5 thousand likes. Ostrin says, this is theft, gained 164 likes, which, yeah. And this is especially disgusting because in many instances, if you can't prove in court that the money is, legitimate, or you could correlate it directly to something, they'll say, oh yeah, well, it could be used for drugs, or it could have been something illegal, so we're going to keep it. And the local police departments, when they seize it, get to keep some, if not all of it. Again, that's not the case every single time, but in many instances it is. And there's been reports, I'm disgusted to say, in places like Texas, where the police bought a margarita machine for the freaking office with the money that they stole from someone. Now, one of the most rudimentary arguments that they use sometimes is, oh, it must be for drugs, because there's a little residue of drugs on a $100 bill. Spoiler alert, for decades, many $100 bills have a little bit of unsavory things on them because of the industry and them using that money. Doesn't mean that it was you doing it or it was from a crime that you committed. And again, it's a very weird, I'll just say it, it's a BS reason to take someone's stuff. Again, there's an instance where a gentleman he saw a car on eBay, or his old, I would call it electronicbay.com, but nevertheless, he saw a car on eBay, I think it was like 20 grand, talked to the guy, and instead of, paying over the wire, where again, there are fees, he said, I'll just pay cash. So he took the cash, put it in his car, drove over the guy. On the way over, police pulled him over. He said, well, what are you doing here? Why you got 20 grand in cash? And I believe it was a Ford Corvette too. But it's an instance where all he says, I'm on this way, he even printed out, here's the description of the product. I'm going to this guy's address. I got a bill of sale ready to go, and I'm going to buy his vehicle. And police didn't believe him. So they took his cash. I mean, you see this time and time again. There's a veteran father, had a couple kids. He had, I believe, $7,000 in his car. The kids drive around these places. And because he didn't trust banks, which Lord knows you have no reason to trust banks these days, especially. And police took his money because they thought it was for drugs or something. Now, the burden is on you to go to court and say, here's where this money came from. It's not for use for drugs or illicit purposes. I mean, civil asset forfeiture is perverse in its theft, and it's been known for over a decade plus in terms of becoming a major problem. Now, originally, the concept, which was good, now granted, the age-old saying is the road to hell is paved with good intentions, was that it was another way for them to charge criminals to increase the amount of punishment on them, stack the charges, and that was the original idea. So if there's a drug bust, I see, here's a criminal with, all this Columbia marching powder, there's a bunch of cash, and, in that case, there's a high correlation, a lot of cash, a lot of Columbia marching powder, a lot of guys with illegal things. Yeah, that is probably why the money was there. They're going to take it. And yet now, innocent, hardworking people are suffering. This is why I'm so pessimistic when anyone in the government says they should get more power to do anything on the left or on the right. Because it seems to be the little guy, the innocent people always get screwed over more often than not. And Thomas Massie is right. It's theft. They're stealing from you. And again, now, if you're this person, again, maybe this came from illicit use. We don't know yet. But now you have to pay for a lawyer. Lord knows they're not cheap. You have to go to court and fight to get your property back. And they just took your property. It's perverse, it's disgusting, and it's akin of what they do in third world hellholes like Canada. I'm sorry, Canada, as I pejoratively mispronounce it. And yet it's happening in our very country. I would argue in the very best part of the country, Texas. It's disgusting. Now going back to the comment section, you also have a very long name, Axiomatic Enemy of the State, who says, quote, give them back their money, you effing thieving degenerates. Getting 33,000 likes. Yep. The disorderly veteran has a picture of a frog with a top hat. It says frog of shame. Says, if the frog of shame gets more than the original tweet, your tweet literally sucks. I get 10,000 likes. The Border Patrol people, again, they got 13.4 million views. They got 2.8 thousand likes, which, yeah. Clandestine says, quote, "Joke's on them, this is unconstitutional." And the two guys that are tied up with the gun behind him executing them, getting 2.9 thousand likes. You also have JJ says, "The government is not your friend." He has some very famous pictures of Ruby Ridge, in which that was a use case in which, well, it wasn't a use case, it was heartbreaking. The government slaughtered a whole family because they entrapped a guy to chop down the barrel of a shotgun, thereby breaking the NFA Act of 1934, because the shotgun barrel length, I believe, was under 18 inches. And they stalked out his property, and they executed his entire family. Because they showed up in ghillie suits. The kid sees that, or the gentleman's kid. He sees strangers on his property in military gear. Again, he didn't see any U.S. military logos or anything on it. He rightly thought, well, we're in the middle of nowhere. There's guys that we don't know disguised on our property. Let me stop this. And they killed the wife, also, who was just famously standing there. They stalked this family so much, you watch the documentary discussing the evil, how the government is. They got 1.8 thousand likes. Mr. Guns and Gear says, "How about no?" Getting 3.3 thousand likes. Amir King says, "How about it's none of your effing business?" Getting 1,000 likes. Lima 6 Belt Fed says, quote, "The government will steal your money and then brag about it on social media. How far have we drifted from what our founding fathers wanted?" Getting 10,000 likes. Yep. Chip Water says, "Things like this are why people do this." There's a very famous picture of the Killdozer getting 703 likes. Mr. Leeds says, "Why should I have to tell you why I'm carrying cash with me and why would you take it if I was?" Getting 11,000 likes. Let's see. The Padre says it's not a crime, getting 1,000 likes. Classic Liberal Caucus says, quote, "Usually we'd say get a warrant, but as you said, it's not a crime to carry over $10,000. Now, what is a crime? Stealing. The criminals here are you," getting 20,000 likes. Zuby says, quote, "Land of the free," getting 3.2 thousand likes. Let's see. Texas Granny says, "If it's not a crime, what entitles you to know about it?" Getting 5.5 thousand likes. Appalachian Library says, quote, "And due to the civil asset forfeiture, they would have stolen money anyway, and you have to go to court to prove you're not guilty over months and maybe years to get it back, which is a clear violation of the 4th and 5th Amendments." Land of the free, getting 4.7 thousand likes. Kyle's Dank Memes, though he didn't actually post a meme, says, quote, I bet the 70,000 was 100,000 before you road pirates took your cut," in 1.6 thousand likes. Public says, "We just want to know about it. Famous last words from a tyrant," getting 1,000 likes. Arthur Bueno got 7.5 thousand likes by saying, quote, "If it's not a crime, why do you people need to report it? If it's not a crime, why did you take it from the person carrying it? Not a crime, but you'll treat people like criminals." Get again 7.5 thousand likes. Oh, this is a great point. This is from Chris K, who says, quote, "How dare someone not call and let you know that they're carrying a whopping 10 grand?" And there's a news article from Fox 10 Phoenix who says, quote, "Pentagon fails 7th audit in a row, unable to fully account for $824 billion budget," getting 960 likes. Yep. And again, that's under Democrats and Republicans. They can't, money just vanishes in D.C. Lizzie says, "You have no effing right to demand information on any citizen's legal currency. You're a gang of thieving thugs. Go F yourselves," getting 4.8 thousand likes. So, again, this problem has been well known for over a decade. Comics have made jokes about it. Videos and use cases have gone viral. So, I'm very obviously frustrated. I'm skeptical if anything will ever actually happen. Now, Thomas Massie is saying, quote, again, if the person is guilty, this is theft. He's right. And I hope he introduces a bill to stop this thievery. Again, he's one guy. I'm pretty skeptical. Again, he got 8.2 million views and 83,000 likes. Thomas Massie, well, his first response is handsome and brilliant. Me, I say, quote, "No one steals more from the people than the government. Also, civil asset forfeiture is BS. They charge an item with a crime, and they usually get to keep it themselves," getting 27 likes. Hodge twins simply say 100%. They also have Freedom Cat saying private citizen, public servant. Feds have gotten this simple definition. They need to be reminded, getting 15 likes. Again, I'm skeptical that this will ever go away, but let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.